Well, we have a bit of a disaster.
I guess I can trace my fascination with the Cairngorms back to 2015, when me and my girlfriend spent 2 weeks camping on a road trip around the UK. I was struck with its sheer size and untamed rugged hills that seemingly went on forever. I've always gravitated towards the more remote areas as a subject for my photography, observing how we interact with it. Do we live alongside it, live with it, or do we try and control it and inevitably fail? Maybe it's growing up in the countryside. Maybe it's the peace that comes with the solitude. But there's something about the emptiness and the landscape's unwillingness to change that comforts me. Like an old dog that refuses to learn any new tricks, the mountain welcomes you in, but you must play by its rules. As with any wilderness, I don't believe our aim should ever be to conquer it, but merely observe it, let it inspire us, and share that with others. That's where this video starts. In 2020, while the world was falling apart, we used one of the easements of lockdown to visit the Cairngorms and get that much needed change of scenery. Located 127 miles north of Edinburgh, the Cairngorms is the UK's largest national park at over 1,700 square miles. While visiting, we made sure to do one of the hikes that I'd been looking forward to doing, walking the Glen Louis to Bob Scott's Memorial Bothy. It offered the best in experiencing some of the breathtaking views whilst remaining tame enough to fit into our very short stay. But before we knew it, we were on our way home, and I was once again longing for those hills. I knew it there and then, if I was ever to attempt to try and capture a small part of this place. I needed more time. And I needed to go further. Glen Louis had showed me a glimpse of what the mountain had to offer, and I wanted to see more. It was during this moment, while gazing at the map in the front of the Ordnance Survey's Cairngorms Outstanding Secular Walks, that a route jumped out to me from the sheer topology alone. Starting in Blair Atholl, I could see how the river tilt acted as a natural passage into the Cairngorms, putting you right at the start of the route to Larrig Grew, passing the famous Coral Bothy, which sits at the foot of 4 out of 5 of the UK's highest mountains, with the mighty Ben Macdui taking place as the second highest mountain in the UK, where eventually it would spit you out into the forests outside Aviemore. I think this is where my interest for the Cairngorms maybe started to resemble an obsession.
You know, they're cheap as anything.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And then I guess on another part of what to prepare for is I've got to buy some new batteries for my cameras, some spare ones. So obviously we've got enough power going on that walk. Maybe even another couple of memory cards to save all the footage.
This is my dad. Once he caught a slight wind of what I was planning, I could tell just how keen he was to come along for the ride, of which I couldn't have been more happy about. Not only for a great adventure with my old man, but it's also much safer to do such a trip with another person. With the pandemic still in full force, it had taken me nearly a year since first thinking of the trip to get my plans solidified to the point where I was happy to commit. It meant, however, by that time, it was approaching late summer of 21, and with the amount of planning that would have to be done, as well as physical training and acquiring the right kit, we knew we'd be aiming for 2022. June. Maximum daylight hours and the best chance of a dry trip. We both agreed June was as good a month as any, so we hunkered down and began to plan everything to the slightest detail. First thing we had to do was plan our route, where we'd camp, where our water sources were, and how many days it was going to take us. Taking into consideration that we would be stopping relatively often to take photos, we didn't want to rush it. We settled on 5 days to cover the 42 miles from Blair Atholl in the south to Aviemore in the north. We'd drive to Aviemore the night before, leave the car at the hotel and catch the train to Blair Atholl, where we'd start the hike through the Cairngorms back to Aviemore. I wanted to stay as true to that original route I'd seen in the OS book as much as possible, and thankfully the route was completely doable. From the train station in Blair Atholl, we'd make our way up Glen Tilt towards Forest Lodge, where we'd spend our first night. We'd then move northeast towards the Falls of Taff and through a small ravine called Alt Garafbu, which roughly translates to a large rocky stream. We'd then make our way to an old building that was set to be refurbed into a bothy. Bothies are the names given to the small buildings that offer shelter during bad weather, but they also act as popular waypoints for hikers. From there we'll head north across the River Dee at White Bridge, where we'll start our way towards the most spectacular and dramatic part of the hike, up the Glen Dee towards Coral Bothy, where we'll spend our third night. Day 4 will see us continue north, exiting the Cairngorms via the grueling Larag Gru, before descending down into the Rothiemurkis forest, where we'll spend our final night before heading back to the hotel in Aviemore. With our route sorted, we needed to stock up on camping supplies and equipment. Cairngorms is one of the most remote areas in the UK, and we didn't want to underestimate it. We made a comprehensive list of everything we'd need, whilst trying to keep the weight in our packs to a reasonable amount. For me, I also had to take into account all my photography kit. A medium format Bronica ETRSI with one 100mm lens and one film back, a Fuji X-T4 with an 18-55mm lens, Insta360, a DJI Mini 2 drone and a tripod, plus spare batteries and power banks to keep everything going. Topping out at 22 kilos, I knew this trip wouldn't be a walk in the park. Right, so here's the test march. See how that's gonna go. We've got about, I think about 7 kilometers to cover, so nothing too crazy, but enough distance to
See how your kit feel.
see how everything's sit. Right, let's get to it. How's your initial weight load feel?
Not too bad. I've got it set comfortably on the back.
Yeah.
And small on the back, so it feels good.
That's good. I think one of the things we need to work on is just the chest muscles and the shoulders are really good.
It's just strong on your shoulders, isn't it? That get you
Yeah.
pulling across this tight.
Have to get some more.
Lovely little post like that.
There we go, man. Back of the truck. Shoulders feel alright?
Yeah, that'll be alright.
They'll be alright. We'll get there.
First little taster session.
Yeah. A little bit less of a gradient than Scotland, but and by little I mean zero gradient. But you know, what can a couple of Norfolk boys do, huh?
Got the combat spoon.
Specialist army equipment, that is.
Yeah, that's all you need. Fill it up to that line. Pasta bolognese.
Dehydrated pasta bolognese.
I'll have to try it.
Now rehydrated.
It's had 8 minutes. A bit more.
Oh yeah. Holy shit. I don't know if we're gonna need any lasagna. Yeah, it's really nice. After acquiring all the kit and with the route planned, the only thing left to do now was the train. And for that, I had another companion, my dog Daisy. Guess that's it then. Let's set off.
There we go. Long time in the making.
Absolutely.
Let's just get that out of there. Clear that screen.
So we began the long 500-mile journey from our home county of Norfolk to Aviemore in the Cairngorms.
I wonder how deep that snow is.
Part of me thinks it's about like 2 inches deep. And another part of me thinks it's... So, the train isn't going to be till 1 o'clock, so we just checked out of the motel, actually called it motel, and it's the whole game of hurry up and wait now, so I'm going to go get some breakfast.
Yeah. We've had to, hopefully things started walking by now, but obviously
what are you going to do?
The rail strike, bless them, that's put us back several hours.
Yeah. So
it is what it is. We just have to walk a bit further or whatever, or longer on our first day.
Well, see what happens anyway.
Yeah.
It was on the train journey to the start point that the sunny skies of Aviemore had started to take a turn for the more customary nature of this part of the world. We got into our waterproofs and braced ourselves for the Scottish weather.
weather?
Yeah, perfect weather. See ya.
3 months weather. Oh, there yet?
Yeah, getting there. So here we are, the very start of this epic voyage.
Epic 5-dayer.
Pissing down. So we got stuck in Blair Athol. No, wait. We got stuck in Aviemore. Well, we couldn't catch a train until 1:20 because of the train strikes. And ironically, it started to spit with rain as soon as we left, and then got really heavy as we got towards Blair Athol, which was our start point. So, let's see what happens. Right. Hey.
You getting heavier, son?
Yeah.
As we walked further into the park, the rain had made it clear it was here to stay. Not wanting to run the risk of getting my Bronica out, we pushed on and hoped it would begin to lift at some point.
Here you go, mate. We took the old shirts off now, the rainproof shirts. So
It's just too hot.
it's too hot. We'll dry out.
And inside them and just creating too much moisture, overheating body heat. I'd rather have a wet shirt, or in Norfolk as I say, a wet shirt,
Wet shirt.
and dry off later.
Yeah, it's alright. How's about this then for review? That's what we came for, wasn't it?
That's what we came for, isn't it? And it's only going to get better. It's just the start, but
Absolutely.
just the start.
I love taking moody, rainy landscape photos as much as the next guy. But with the persistent and heavy rain, it made it nearly impossible to get my unweather sealed Bronica out, except for those brief breaks in the weather where I managed to get off a few shots.
So, should be another 4 miles from this point for our original camp, but we don't obviously have to stay there. We could camp a little bit earlier and then...
Well, push on, see if we can make it, that'd be good. If not,
Yeah.
we've got a late start.
I'd started to become a little frustrated with having to pass up on so many great photo opportunities due to the weather. But I reminded myself, this was a 5-day trip, and the scenery only got better as the days went on. Hopefully, the weather would ease up in the next few days.
Yeah. Good idea.
It was at this point the weather really started to take a turn for the worse. No longer was the rain just persistent and difficult to work in, but now it was nearly impossible to get any of my equipment out without risking damage. Still, our spirits remained high. We were only about 2.5 miles from our planned campsite, and would be in some woodland to protect ourselves from the wind and the driving rain.
I don't think the rain's going to let up anytime soon. We got to try and...
As we approached our camp spot for the night, We expected to be able to get some rest and put the day behind us, but it had one more surprise for us that threatened to jeopardize the whole trip.
Not many woods on the way, anyway.
Well, we have a bit of a disaster. Because it's been pissing down all day, a lot of the kit is wet, and the tents we have
I'm not waterproof,
turns out are not waterproof.
even though I said they were.
So we set the tents up, they got a little wet while we were doing it, but then we got to the end and there's drips of water just dripping from the top, and we can't risk that.
Well, it was a puzzle. It's just still the trouble is now, because the tents don't work, we've either got to push on, like say, another 10 miles tonight in the dark, which you can't do, and stay there, which we weren't going to reach it. But that means every night after that, we've got to make it to a bobby and hope no one else is staying there.
Yep, that's the thing.
Which kind of annoys it. Right now, this is wet.
With our shelter compromise, we backtracked a couple of miles to a gamekeeper's lodge that we had seen, to see if there was any barns or buildings that we could shelter in for the night.
Lock the top there now. You can reach out a little latch, that'll unlock and you can walk in.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
You go into the right,
Oh, yeah.
stand there, yeah, it's all private floor.
Yeah, wicked, mate. Oh, this is what we need. Fuck me.
What's a bit of a shame for me is that, you know, the whole point why I wanted to come up here was originally was to get all my photography done, and that's I've taken some alright pictures, but I've not been able to just get in the element and do it because it's been pissing down all day, and I've understood, like, you know, that's something that we just have to, that's fine, that's just something you have to deal with. But when it's you know.
Yeah, well, don't worry about it.
No, I know, it's just...
Shit happens. We've got shit tents. We didn't fucking test them. Well, we tested them, but we didn't test them. We just didn't expect them to leave. I mean, that wouldn't just leave. Goes like a monsoon, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really was. It wasn't even like it was just a little bit. It was continuous enough.
Oh yeah, it would have filled up. It would have filled up all night, mate.
When we awoke the next morning, the rain and the wind had passed. Although we had decided it was best to call off the trip, the better weather conditions were tormenting us into carrying on. We had a hard time coming to terms with bailing out after just one night. We felt we had been dealt quite a blow. All that planning, all that training to find out we couldn't continue because of something that could have been avoided. We could have just kept walking throughout the night, or we could have, I don't know, even just huddled up and just got under whatever was waterproof and just, you know, got through the night. But when you start mixing my kit into it, it's a really difficult decision to call. And when this was originally for doing photography, yeah, it's if the weather's like that, you can't even get your camera out. So, oh well. like that, we were back at Blair Atholl to get the train back to Aviemore. Over a year's worth of planning brought crashing down by overlooking something so obvious. I was feeling disappointed at our failed attempt, but it served only to increase my respect and fascination for the mountain. We had been humbled, and whilst it wasn't the most dire of circumstances, I still to this day believe we made the right call. To continue into the mountain knowing you aren't fully prepared is not only risking your safety, but the safety of others when they inevitably have to come looking for you. Like I said before, the mountain welcomes you in, but you have to play by its rules.
Lots and lots to process in this trip. Lots of ups and downs. Yeah. I don't really know what my final thoughts are on it yet. You know, we didn't complete the trip. We had to turn back on the second day. Our tents just weren't up to it. And, you know, this is something I've been wanting to do for 2 years now. And a year of planning. And 6 months of, like, hardcore planning. And it's just... I'm still processing how I feel about it, but essentially we turned back for a very good reason. You know, if you can't keep kit dry and you can't keep yourself dry, you just can't rely on the weather at all. Like today, it's been, I mean, right now it's absolutely glorious. Whereas, you know, not 15, 20 minutes ago, I had to pack all the bag away because it was tipping down with rain. But yeah, it's been amazing either way, and like my partner said, this is just going to be a prequel to when I inevitably do it. Whether it's with my dad or not, I'm not sure if he's going to want to do it. But either way, that trip is going to get done, and it's going to be amazing. Maybe next year.
And so it was that time again. Wish I could say I was fitter, but well, I can't. As well as running, I made sure to get used to that long distance walking again.
Little 360 camera. Woohoo!
In a kind of two birds, one stone move, I happened to also be training for a hike in Spain with my mate Ron that year. Hiking, making bad trail choices,
Oh no, is that the bridge?
and finding old Bronze Age forts.
Whoa!
Ah, and this caterpillar. Unfortunately, due to other commitments, my dad couldn't attempt the trip that year, but I knew someone very close to me who would absolutely jump at the chance.
Yeah, alright in there.
This is my mate Milky, and this was the first summer we spent together in 2004, exploring, filming it, and getting up to no good. A bit like the present day actually, except for maybe the last one.
How's it going, man? It's actually finally here.
Yeah, that's mental, isn't it?
Now in our early 30s, this trip is something we could have only dreamed possible when we were kids. But with a couple of extra decades under our belts, we were about to tackle something much bigger. A familiar story from the year before started to repeat itself, comparing kit, discussing what was essential, and solidifying the route in our heads. Oh, and also buying a new tent. We'd be hiking the same route as before, but this time we'd leave the truck at the trailhead in Blair Atholl and catch the train back from Aviemore. With the trip only days away, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly anxious. But with the experience from the year before, plus the addition of new kit, I felt as prepared as I possibly could. We join our journey a few miles outside of our starting point of Blair Athol. After a night of heavy rain, we awoke to a beautiful day, perfect for hiking and taking photos. Quite a contrast from the year previous. We made our way along Glentilt at a leisurely pace, taking in all the beautiful scenery in the now picturesque valley. I kept expecting the skies to suddenly open up and pour down on us, but it didn't. The day only brought us more sunshine and more warm weather as we slowly made our way deeper into the mountain. As the day went on, we closed in on our first campsite, the same campsite we had to abandon the year before, and at that moment, it seemed like a completely different world to the one I'd left in the year previous. And while the scenery was absolutely beautiful, it sure didn't take us long to devolve into our childhood selves.
Oh, a lovely little one there, look. Oh, go for it, mate. Alright. Give me the whole 360. That's alright, I'm gonna get it under there, mate, under that rock face. That's a little goal. Oh, it's got eaten. It made a little rainbow as well. Yeah. It's got absolutely eaten. Oh! Okay, hold 360. Car was on the prow. That's a perfect little skimmer. And where you are, going to find you. There we go, mate. You got it. That little guy will be wicked. Oh, look at that foot placement. Oh, batty boy. Oh, lad. Fucking nice one, son. Go on, my son. Oh, that was fucking wicked. The way it just popped up at the end. The finesse! I have a gift for you as the skimmer that won the championship. The perfect skimmer. Oh man, it's beautiful. Here's your stinky socks. Take that to the road. Just here looks good, man. So fluffy. Well fluffy, isn't it? Good man, there you go. Lovely, thank you very much. Cheers, dudes. What time do we leave today from Blair Athol? 9:30. Oh, cool. How did you sleep then?
Yeah, I slept absolutely fine.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, need it.
Not too bad. Here's the day 2, bro.
Yeah, day 2. Not many better mornings than this.
Can't wish for better than that. It's awesome.
We had met someone off camera who had told us that due to the heavy rain that we had had the night before we started walking, that a key ford crossing at the Geldy Burn was impassable. This was a bit of a concern, so our route went straight through that ford and would be hitting it later on that day. Thankfully, it'd be the last river crossing of the day and right next to where we would camp. We had no choice but to continue and just hope that the river had fallen enough by the time we got there.
We've passed one more person, or a group of 2 people coming this way. So presumably they came from up that way, so hopefully it's clear. And we've also had 2 people go past us today. You know, at least there's other people doing what we're doing, so hopefully it'll be alright. Right, might grab another shot with Portrait this time, and yeah, see what that photo looks like.
Look at that, man, where we've been. Wow. I think that's the most visceral kind of depth of field moment looking back. Just the endless hills and how they've like disappeared and faded into like the clouds.
So far we've come. So it looks like we're now reaching the end of this valley. You can see it's starting to get flatter down here. There's some more mountains in the background. It's where the fords begin, yeah.
Since starting the trip, we had been walking alongside the River Tilt, which sits at the bottom of a relatively narrow valley. Now approaching the river source, the landscape had begun to open up, and we were treated to our first glimpse of the mountains north of us, where we'd be heading into the following day.
beautiful composition just through this gap here. It's kind of funny to be in like the ruin of an old lodge and then taking photos of something that isn't the lodge, but it's spectacular. We're really close to the basically last ford crossing, which then takes us to our camp for the night. We got really fortunate. There doesn't seem to be the treacherous waters that they told us about earlier, so it looks like well, we haven't got to the last ford yet, we'll see, but we've had some dude, some American guy from Detroit, he biked through and said that it went up to like his shins, so we'll just take our boots off, walk through, and it should be fine.
Just how quiet this is. I think we should be fine with that ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure this is the Gelderburn. This is the ford that was impossible to pass just a couple of days ago. I reckon you can almost get across without boots on. I mean, without take your boots off. I was thinking this one here, look. Alright then, mate. Oh, Billy Big Bollocks over here. Wait up, wait up, wait up. Hang on. Right, hang on a minute. We're going to have a race. What's that, mate? What's that? You what, mate? You a bit stuck, mate? You need me to get the flare out? Huh? Do you want me to get the flare out? Get the mountain rescue.
Stop laddie, you are, mate.
Oh, mate.
Save the best till last day, mate.
I'm glad you finally got it. I thought I was going to pass out from being so hungry. Right, so we just got to where we're going to camp. It's a beautiful little spot here, right by Gelderburn and right by the bovvy. So, gonna get our tents all sorted out, get them all set up, and then maybe go have a little look at the bovvy and see what's going on, because it is the most comprehensive bovvy I've ever seen.
It looks like a little holiday cottage.
Yeah, it's insane.
Bonks must be in the other room.
Honestly, I can't believe how impressive and modern this is. Like, I've never seen it.
Yeah, like they've really revived it. I think it's more so to look after what was here. I think it was starting to perish, and I imagine people maybe complained that there's a big history around this or whatever.
look at it, there's money out there, I know there is. I wanted to involve young people in outdoor activities, so I set up a charity, and that charity is still going strong. It's very localised, you know, and it will never spread, because any other area could set it up if they wanted to. And it's catering for all different ages and stages and abilities. Hey, it's been lovely. Again, I'd say it again. It's been lovely meeting.
It really has, and we've just been saying how much of an inspiration you are, and if we could be half the man you are at your age, we'd be very, very happy.
You know,
definitely.
It's not, as I say to people, it's not down to academic ability, because I left school at the age of 14. It's how you make your life.
Yeah, 11.75 kilometres. So we can see the Geldy burn there. That's the track that we crossed yesterday, and you'll see from the footage it was a lot lower than that. We had a lot of rain last night, and although I think we still probably could have crossed that, it's definitely a lot higher, and you can understand why at some point it's sometimes it's completely impassable. Oh, mate. Oh, wow, mate. Look at that. Oh, that's a fucking photo. This is the problem with waist level viewfinders. They're really great, super lightweight, very small, but they flip the image this way and this way. So, actually no, just this way. So if you want to do portrait, you need to go on the side, and it's really quite challenging to compose your image. You've got to kind of like take an axis at a time. So get it lined up, there, that, and then rotate. And then down. Very hard to do upside down. I'm gonna go with that. Hopefully that turns out. Might be completely off. The crossing at White Bridge signified a pivotal point in the trip, where we'd cross the halfway point and start walking alongside the River Dee to its source in some of the highest parts of the Cairngorms. sat down to have lunch on this almost perfectly placed rock, jutting out into the water. The Scottish weather had been uncharacteristically kind to us, but we were now leaving the relatively low hills in favour for a valley with 4 out of 5 of the UK's highest mountains. As we sat and basked in the sunshine, distant grey clouds were forming. The doorway to Larrick grew, the mountain pass. As if the mountain was throwing me a bone, the driving rains would stop just long enough for me to get my camera out and take some shots. Before it would come crashing back down on us again. Despite the weather, with the distant mountains beckoning us, and me having imagined this for the last 3 years, our spirits had never been higher.
Yeah, man. Did it go straight in?
Yeah. Oh, this is where it comes in well handy. It just went.
I didn't expect that.
I was more worried about landing and crashing my camera than I was like hurting myself.
Yeah.
Because it was on
Oh,
my
this reveal, dude.
Oh, look at that.
Our bovvy is just beyond that point there, which is called Devil's Point, and that's going to be our home for the night. Hopefully the weather clears up so we can get the drone up, but
Yeah, because this valley is absolutely incredible.
it's insane. It's absolutely
this is
insane.
kind of like what me and Carl have been talking about. You know, this has been the pinnacle.
This is
moment
it.
of the
The
trip.
whole trip has basically been to get here, and it's insane. So we're very, very happy, and it's also nice to finally see this in person, because for the last couple of years all I've been doing is imagining what it looks like by looking at maps and on Google Maps and satellite views and stuff like that. So to actually see it in the flesh,
Yeah.
it's just incredible. And to be honest, I'm not even annoyed it's raining, because it just makes for such moody, awesome shots.
Oh,
So
it's been wicked, yeah.
there goes Milky, right in the distance, just behind me. Right in the distance you can see the bobby. We're pretty chuffed about it, to be honest. It is getting pretty gnarly. Basically all the paths have now turned into rivers. Well, I say rivers, like little streams. It's not crazy, it's not like we're gonna die. But yeah, it's awesome. It's you know, this is Scotland. This is what it's like. If you want to come here, it's you have to be prepared for this kind of stuff. It's a bit miserable at times, and it just goes to show just how important these boffies are. I mean, we're in July, and you know, it is absolutely just so nice to know that we can actually get in a building and get out the rain to dry our kit. There we go. This is the kind of stuff. Just absolutely
Mad.
Another thing to note as well is that this being our third day in the terrain that we've traversed, and it being probably the most difficult. I think how you feel like you're not gaining much ground. Like the past couple of days, you look back, you're like, oh my god, we've gained ground so quickly. But this has just been crazy. It does make you think in, like, you know, December, January, it must be absolutely gnarly, because you have to not only take your time and have just risk around you everywhere you step, but it just makes days so much longer, and you've got less light. So even, you know, I do just think
Absolutely.
us doing this in July, we are so lucky. Like, this is nothing, but
Yeah.
amazing regardless.
The weather and rougher terrain had made the last 6 or 7 miles increasingly difficult. We pushed on with the knowledge that Cora Boffy was our reward for doing so. The idea of not setting up a tent in the rain and not cooking our dinner in the wind was a delightful one.
I can't remember. It's south of Suez. What do you have just east? Because he marched to the sea.
Yeah.
I can't remember what country he was in though, or what it would be now.
What is Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
I think it might be Saudi.
It might be Saudi Arabia.
Next to Suez. Yeah.
That'd be such a dire log entry, like, reduce, finished all my supplies, reduce tweeting some nuts I found in my shoe.
Yeah. Although, just forget there's a couple of MREs on here. Oh,
Yeah.
best before 2020.
What?
That's why no one's consumed them yet.
It's nice though, I really like it. In Zambia it's quite all round 6 to 6. Yeah. Although actually I don't know, it's probably it changes. Summer it's 5 to 6.
Mm.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know, I've never considered having so many hours of light. It's lovely.
Yeah, you're super rich, but you're still sleeping in a field.
Yeah, exactly. Just with nice kit.
Yeah.
Still got your poo bags on your feet.
Just like
This is part of me now.
Exactly.
slightly more expensive poo bags.
Yeah.
Storeroom.
No, because then you miss out on the poo conversation.
Oh, of course.
No, I mean just
Yeah.
for when you're sleeping and you're trying to block out the snoring. You just like, yeah,
You pay people to
£2,000
stay up all night.
headphones.
Exactly. You pay $2,000 for the headphones and then go and stay in a bothy.
Just over the top of this, I think. Just so I don't sweat too much.
After saying goodbye to our new friends we'd met in the bothy, we realised we weren't quite ready to leave. The weather the day before had made it quite difficult to take pictures. and with the relatively calm conditions, we decided to take a hike up the nearby Devil's Point. A nice little 400 metre ascent from Coral Rocky to stretch the legs and offer a new vantage point.
This is it, man. Devil's Point. About to have that reveal. Oh my lord. Look at that! That's mental. Well, looks like we made it. And the views are incredible. You can't probably see too much on here. We had a lot of rain coming up, it's still spitting a bit, but it's looking like weather behind me is clearing up a little bit. We're hoping if we just stick around for another 10-20 minutes, we can try and find a gap in the weather to get a picture of this absolutely insane vista of just one of the best views I've ever seen in my life. You can actually see the woods where we slept the night before. So you can see the full 11-kilometer walk. Everywhere we came, you can see where we had lunch on the edge of that rock. Obviously you can't see the rock, but you can see the bend in the river, because I remember seeing Devil's Point. Well, we remember seeing Devil's Point, and then as you come around the corner, we remember having that big reveal of Devil's Point. Insane. It's really, really lovely to just see the real tangible, visual of progress. It's insane. And the views are just everything that I could have imagined. Right, rain's clearing up, time to get the medium format out. Let's get some shots. I'm shooting Pro 400H.
After making it back to the bothy and getting some food down us, we realised we were really starting the walk on the back foot. Unbelievably, it was already 3 PM, and unknown to us, we had the toughest stretch of walking so far ahead of us. Larrig Grew is known for its several kilometre-long patchwork of unforgiving boulder fields that require not only more physical strength, but also the concentration to not slip. I'm not going to lie, there's not a lot of footage of the next 20 kilometres. In big part due to weather, they were some of the hardest walking we have ever faced. I was reminded of a passage from a book about the Cairngorms Mountains written by Nan Shepherd, called The Living Mountain, in which she talks of the rain, and she describes it far better than I ever could.
When the mist turns to rain, there may be beauty there too. Like shifting mists, driving rain has a beauty of shape and movement. But there is a kind of rain without beauty, when air and ground are sodden, sullen black rain that invades body and soul alike. It gets down the neck and up the arms and into the boots. One is wet to the skin, and everything one carries has twice its weight. Then the desolation of these empty stretches of land strikes at one's heart. The mountain becomes a monstrous place.
So we've just hit a very pivotal point in the walk where we have basically completed we've nearly completed the walk across the Cairngorms, because in the distance behind me you can see where we've come from. You can see Devil's Point, which is this one here, and that's where we were this morning. You can see the mountains in the very far distance. That's basically where we were in the first couple of days, and now we've summited and you can now see all the forests, and you can see Aviemore down there, which is just quite a feat, to be honest. We're very happy. This day's been pretty hard walking. Yeah, not gonna lie. Morale got low at one point, but we powered through. Rain was really bad again, which made it difficult to take photos, but you know, that's how it goes. Managed to get some on my XT4. However, might just capture one last shot of Devil's Point. An interesting end to the trip, really. You know, it has been really difficult at points, but like just so rewarding. And to think that this trip that I've planned to do for, oh man, so long now, like over 2 years, is actually finally nearly done. It's a cool feeling, and the start of which I hope is many more. If we take a little leaf out of Peter's book, who we met in Red House Bothy, you know, he's 76. He can't walk much anymore, but he still manages to do what he wants to do on the on his bike, and that's really inspiring. So yeah, here's to everyone that wants to go out and walk across national parks and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, time to grab a few photos on the old Bronica. I think I've got some gold 200 in there at the moment. Should be plenty bright enough to get some shots off, and yeah, see what we can't shoot. As we slowly made our way to the end of the seemingly never-ending Larrigrue and approaching where we planned to camp for the night, we started to realise something quite worrying. Having chose the campsite by looking at the Ordnance Survey map, I had failed to realise that the type of ground in this area was completely marshy and uneven, and littered with little 12-inch deep channels created by the runoff, making it incredibly difficult to pitch a tent. Our only option at this point was to carry on deeper into the Rothiemurkers forest. It would be another 7 kilometres before we found a suitable campsite.
We found this site here, right next to a river. So we've got clean water and a flat piece of ground that isn't marshy, which I can't stress enough how rare it is. Oh jeez, we're so happy. Yeah, anyway. I'm going to go set the tent up, and that was a tough day, I tell you. So after doing like 20 Ks yesterday and struggling to find somewhere to camp, once we got out of the Cairngorms Park, we managed to find this spot last night. It was like an absolute godsend. So yeah. Weather's really nice this morning. We've got, I think, about an 8-kilometre hike from here back to Aviemore, and looks like we might probably take a few pictures on the way. It's a beautiful day, it's dry, and we're going to get back to Aviemore, have a beer and a full Scottish breakfast, if we can find one, but we're hoping. Anyway, it's been quite the adventure. I hope you've enjoyed coming along on the journey.
standing on some stones. Hope you've enjoyed coming along on the journey. Hope you've enjoyed the photography, and yeah, I really hope you enjoy more stuff that Pixel and Grain has to offer. I don't really want to use it as, I'm not going to be uploading super regularly. I'm really doing it as like a passion project and a thing to go alongside my photography career. I just want a way to, you know, put somewhere man, I'm getting tired now. I just want somewhere to put the stuff that I create that people can view if they want to, sort of thing. I'm not trying to push anything, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. It might not be quite as adventurous as this because this is quite a special event, but it's a nicer way to kickstart the channel. But anyway, yeah, stick around for some other stuff. I'm sure there'll be some other stuff coming around. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye. Well, easy day walking now. All trails like this.
Never seen rocks so small.
No boulders, none that we have to walk over. Well, maybe a couple.